Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you, a humble champion, and I'm still the toughest SOB around, baby.
While some may call him the Beast Incarnate and others will say the Conqueror, Brock Lesnar doesn't need any nicknames to showcase his strength. You just need to take one look at Brock and you kind of get the idea that he's tough. He's kind of an athlete who doesn't come around often. Ever since his early days, Brock showcased his strengths in moments that quite frankly can never be replicated. You all remember when WWE did this promo with Brock? The man F5 the freaking shark.
You what?
I think my brain just committed suicide.
At this point, the big man can hunt down an animal with his bare hands, which he has done. So today we'll be looking at why Brock is one of the strongest men alive in WWE and deserves the nickname The Beast.
Round two. Heavyweight title on the line.
Brock made his debut on the 18th of March episode of Raw in 2002. He was accompanied by Paul Heyman and the segment saw Brock decimating Al Snow, Maven and Spike Dudley. And the beatdown seemed credible because Brock had a tough physique and the powerbomb he delivered to Spike, it looked like he was going to rip his head off.
Hardcore matchup.
That's a lot of damage.
So while Spike weighed approximately 150 pounds, which doesn't seem excessive, however, the fact that Lesnar picked up Spike by his neck, threw him upwards, then captured him in a powerbomb position just demonstrates his incredible strength. And this is why Brock was deemed the next big thing in WWE. But what made him even more dangerous was how fast he was able to move around and take down his opponents. And yeah, physique isn't everything, but it does add a lot to your credibility and fulfills the image of what Vince always wanted in a megastar. Heck, here's what Jim Ross had to say when being interviewed by Ariel Helwani, how Vince thought that Brock looked like a total Viking.
When Vince saw him, he had the damnest man crush in like 10 seconds on Earth. He said, "God damn, he looks like a Viking."
But let's rewind a bit just to see how Brock's physique can be attributed to his early days. When Lesnar was growing up on his parents' dairy farm, all the physical activities you do on a farm can transform you in ways that working out in a gym simply can't. For example, it's been reported while growing up on the farm on South Dakota, Lesnar ran across the field with a 180-pound tree trunk placed across his shoulders just to build his core and leg strength. So later on, he received a scholarship to wrestle for the University of Minnesota and was even roommates with Shelton Benjamin. So in his early 20s, he was approximately weighing in at 281 pounds for his wrestling matches. And Lesnar's success on the mat led him to a NCAA Division I championship in 2000, which is one of the most prestigious awards in wrestling. And Lesnar continued to dominate in wrestling whilst in college, and after finishing with an overall record of 106 wins and 5 losses, he caught the eye of WWE scout Gerald Briscoe. So after debuting in robust fashion, Brock destroyed anyone that went toe-to-toe with him. He even defeated The Rock at SummerSlam the same year to win his first ever WWE Championship. If you've ever had a dream of having a muscular body like Brock, then either start grinding now or start pursuing another dream, because Brock had an insane workout routine that will surely leave you breathless. And to kick things off, it's been reported that Brock benches well over 600 pounds. To put things in perspective, Mark Henry, who claims to be the world's strongest man, can bench press 585 pounds. And the crazy thing about it is, Kurt Angle also confirmed that I've seen him bench over 600 pounds and I've seen him squat over 1,000 pounds.
You don't realize how strong and how athletic Brock Lesnar is. Brock Lesnar is the best athlete over 250 that I've ever seen in my life. He benches over 600 pounds. I've seen him squat over 1,000 pounds.
Now 600 pounds seems believable on bench, but 1,000 pounds on a squat seems like he's pushing the boundaries.
Are you sure about that?
Heck, even professional bodybuilder Larry Wills has squatted a max of 952 pounds, and he's admitted to being on PEDs for nearly 10 years. However, what's even crazier is during his NFL days, Lesnar set the record on bench press of 43 reps on 255 pounds, something that just shows how well built Brock was back in his football days. If the man can outdo Mark Henry in terms of strength, that can only mean one thing for me.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Brock has not only had success in the wrestling industry, but he's also a decorated UFC fighter too. And it was his MMA workout routine that allowed him to win the UFC heavyweight championship in just his third fight. And Brock was extremely disciplined when it came to his MMA career. In the first 4 days of a week, Brock focused on strength training. The first day focused on chest and triceps, the second was all about backs and biceps. Then he would do shoulders on the third day and legs will be on the fourth. So let me break some of these numbers down to you. When it came to his bench press, he was pressing 315 pounds and that was 6 sets of 12 reps each. His squat was 690 pounds and that was 4 sets with 6 reps each. And finally, his deadlift was reported to be 700 pounds and again 4 sets of 6 reps each.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Which seems more reasonable to what Kurt had to say about him, considering he weighed in at 265 pounds in the UFC. It must be said that WWE superstars rarely speak about their diet in public. However, Lesnar has stated that his daily calorie intake used to go up to 3,200 calories a day. Lesnar also added that he used to consume around 300 grams of protein every single day to maintain his monstrous physique. In other words, he was eating close to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day. So as Brock transitioned from professional wrestling to UFC, it's something that got people excited.
So excited!
As Brock trained hard for his UFC career, it only made sense that he would succeed. When he started, he weighed in at 265 pounds when he defeated Randy Couture in his third UFC fight to win the UFC heavyweight championship belt. And not only that, he also successfully defended his title against Frank Mir and Shane Carwin, and those guys have amazing UFC win records too. And even Joe Rogan believed he could be one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time if he started his career a lot earlier rather than going to the WWE.
Like Brock Lesnar, man. I swear that if Brock Lesnar got into mixed martial arts right out of college, well, went college wrestler, right into training, really learned striking, and learned slowly instead of like spending all that time doing WWE, man, I think he could have been one of the all-time greats. I really do.
This just shows that Brock wasn't taking things easy. For the time he was in the UFC, Brock was quite possibly the most valuable asset within the company. And Brock's UFC record overall wasn't too bad either. It was 5-3 towards the end. Not bad for a professional wrestler turned fighter, unlike CM Punk. But at the end of the day, it was his circuit training regime that really made Brock the man he is today. That regime focusing on pushing and pulling, endurance, cardio, strength, and the intensity. You could tell the difference between Brock's body between when he was in WWE during his first run and when he returned to the company in 2012. Brock had become more muscular and he looked like a monster that no one wanted to mess around with.
It's about to go down.
And the term beast is synonymous with Brock, not because of the monstrous appearance, but it's because of the moments in which he showcased what he's capable of. During Brock's first run with WWE, which lasted about 2 years, Brock delivered moments that many of us still replay till this day. Let's begin by remembering the time Brock was feuding with Big Show back in 2003. Lesnar easily picked him up, which is not an easy feat considering Big Show weighed well over 500 pounds at the time, and it's something that only a handful of superstars have accomplished. So back in 03, when Brock and Big Show had a match on June the 12th episode of SmackDown, and during the end of the match, Brock executed a suplex on Big Show off the top rope. The ring imploded and the Impact and the crowd in attendance lost their shit.
A 500-pound superplex!
It's become one of the most watched clips in SmackDown history. It's unlikely a bulky superstar will be able to perform moves that are usually executed by smaller athletes, but Brock pushed himself to the limit and performed a jaw-dropping move. WrestleMania 19, Brock performed a shooting star press on Kurt Angle, which he botched.
What the hell is this? What the hell's Lesnar doing, Cole? Oh my God!
So after making a name for himself in the UFC, Brock returned to WWE in 2012 and he quickly entered the program with
John Cena!
At the Extreme Raw event of the year, Brock faced Cena in a hardcore match, and even though he lost the match he should have been booked to win, fans got a taste of a completely different Brock from what they remember him from a decade ago. Brock had brought his UFC persona with him and completely destroyed Cena. However, there was one particular spot in the match that would scare the hell out of anyone. At one point in the match, the referee was knocked out. Brock went outside and hoisted the referee with just one hand, and that referee easily weighed 80 kg. He does it with the greatest of ease. And the crazy thing is, he did it again at Crown Jewel, but this time with a thunderous roar.
Prime animal growl.
How many wrestlers can claim to even do that? I guarantee you it's not many. Heck, even JBL claims that the strength of Brock Lesnar is like no other. He went on to say that he suplexed him so easily that when he got up the third time, he was like a rag doll, and Brock still threw him around the ring. And I think my favorite quote from JBL is the fact that he thinks Brock Lesnar should be an Avenger. And in 2015, Seth Rollins was feuding with Brock Lesnar, and on the 6th of July episode of Raw, Brock demolished the car that was gifted to Rollins by J&J Security. So it may be absurd and hilarious, but Brock ripping off the car doors with his hands is not something you get to see every day. And how about the time that Brock busted open Randy Orton at SummerSlam in 2016 with his elbows? He prefers to make it real rather than opting for a blade job, so the performance was actually real. When it's all said and done, Brock Lesnar will go down as one of the strongest wrestlers ever. He's dominated both MMA and professional wrestling. Even Roman Reigns had to acknowledge his toughness. When he was being interviewed by Logan Paul for his podcast, he revealed that it's tough to hang with Brock.
Yeah, he's Brock Lesnar, man. He picks you up and throws you on your head. There's nothing nice about that. Yeah, it's very tough to work with. With a human being like that some call him like the alpha male of our species. You know, it's true. He really is what he is. But at the same time, he has a legitimate background of MMA that when you get in the ring, there has to be some kind of protection of that legitimacy.
Simply put, they don't make wrestlers like Brock anymore. He's truly the most decorated combat sports athlete ever. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, give it a like, and give us your comment below upon who you think is the strongest wrestler in WWE.